Producing a jazz festival is more than just organizing a musical event. It's a celebration of culture, creativity, and community. Jazz is a genre deeply rooted in history, innovation, and the power of artistic expression. By producing this festival highlights jazz. We are not only preserving its legacy, but also introducing new audience to its evolving sound. A jazz festival serves as a platform for both legendary musicians and emerging artists, fostering a space where tradition meets innovation. It creates opportunities for artists to collaborate, experiment, and showcase their talents to a broader audience. Beyond the music, we often feature educational workshops and programs that highlight youth in music, deepening public appreciation for jazz and its rich heritage. A jazz festival can be a major driver for local businesses, attracting visitors from different regions and boosting tourism. Restaurants, hotels, and vendors all benefit from the influx of attendees, contributing to the overall economic growth of our city here in Rochester. Moreover, the festival experience fosters a sense of community by bringing people together through a shared appreciation of music, whether in an intimate club setting, at one of our club passes, or an open-air venue. This jazz festival creates moments of joy, unity, and inspiration. Ultimately, producing this jazz festival is an investment in our culture, our art, and the human experience. Good morning, everybody. I'm Mark Iacona. I'm the executive director and co-producer, along with John Nugent, our artistic director and co-producer. We welcome you to the 22nd edition of the Rochester International Jazz Festival, partnered with Rochester Regional Health. I'd like to give thanks to all our sponsors here that are shown up here. As I say every single year, we cannot even put a value on what it means to us to be able to produce this festival. Many festivals aren't as fortunate as we are, where they get the support from all different levels of government as well as corporate in order to produce this festival and plan it months and months in advance. We do not take you for granted at all. I'd like to thank Joey Sempian over there. He's a U of R student, double major, and also Eastman School of Music for the music today, as well as he'll be playing in a library series in our festival. I'd like to thank the Wind Companies, Sibley Square, Ken Green, Janine, and Tim Cachette, who managed the Duke for hosting today's event, and also one of our new venues from last year that was very, very popular. I'd like to thank Jerry at WowWorks for all the AV here and the screen. Very much appreciated. Also have to recognize the fantastic team that many of you never see that we're surrounded by, spanning from production, logistics, PR and marketing, volunteer network, all the venue owners that allow us to utilize their space. In addition to our festival team, all the professional services that we outsource to locally and regionally that feed positive economic impact. We're all pleased to welcome and recognize Rochester Regional Health as our new title sponsor. We'd like to thank CGI for the 4 years of their support. It was a pleasure working with them. We look forward to now working with Rochester Regional Health. 14 years, the organization has been with us as a supporter of the Jazz Festival. We started our relationship with some of the open air stages that were sponsors, as well as the Big Tent that is one of our Club Pass venues for the Club Pass series. We look forward to working with them, as well as our first aid facilities that are around the festival. What's new this year? A new venue location for our open air stage performance that I'll let the mayor touch a little bit on to let you know that surprise. We're all excited about that. Our ticket shop is now, thanks to University of Rochester and Eastman and Sean at the UR for having us be able to come back into the ticket shop where we were for several years. We truly appreciate that. This is the place to go for tickets, brochures, and info that you need for the festival. Jam sessions at the Hyatt Regencies, our friends down the street. We're going to move the jam session that is popular back upstairs where it originally started, so that when you come in, you can see the festival attendees that are there, and also the artists that play. Instead of just getting into their elevators and maybe just going up to their room, they see the music and they go right to the lobby and start playing, which is great. The jazz workshops for all students of all ages will return, sponsored by Wegmans and the Wegmans family. We thank them for that. Several of the artists that are in the Club Pass series that John programs will be sitting in and doing those little mini master classes that allow the students to play. It's our continued focus on our next generation of artists. We will welcome several ensembles from the Eastman Community School and 24 high school jazz bands from the region. All are free shows, so we got to come out and see these young students play, because sometimes this is the only time they'll probably be able to say they played in an international jazz festival. Our app, which will launch coming out in April, sponsored by Harris Beach, is something that's always been used for us, and we get great reviews on it, so make sure that it's free to download. And as not last and not least, our commitment to the scholarship every single year to the Eastman Jazz Studies program. So as I start to announce some of the next individuals to come up, again, I have to say that we are so blessed and fortunate to be able to have the support here from the individuals that are going to talk, as well as the sponsors that I showed you. I think that the quality of music that you'll hear, that you've been hearing, that John is going to talk about, we are very fortunate to bring these individuals to our city and to our region, and we should all be very appreciative of it. It's our jazz festival, not just two guys that run this festival and the team. It's our festival that's here in Rochester, New York. So since the start of our festival, New York State has been a vital supporter of the festival. Although Senator Jeremy Cooney is in Albany and can't join us today, he has sent a message for all of us.
Hi, everyone. I'm Senator Jeremy Cooney, and I wish I could be there with you all in person. And on these cold days, I am so excited about thinking about the start of this year's Jazz Fest. From the music to the food to the bustling downtown, the Jazz Fest truly showcases the best of our Rochester community. That's why thousands gather every year to celebrate the arts right in our downtown. Walking through the city amidst visitors from all over and hearing the sounds from the main stage or from a performer on the side of the street, it's not hard to see why this festival has become such an important part of our community. Thanks to everyone who makes this a reality, especially to my friends Mark Iacona and John Nugent, for all that you do to deliver such a tremendous festival year after year. I can't wait to join all of you for the exceptional concerts coming this year, and I'll see you on Jazz Street.
Okay, so the nice thing about having our supporters there of the festival is that they're out at the festival. So many times we love to see our sponsors. This is one of the festivals that everyone has the opportunity to come up on stage and welcome people to our community, and Jeremy is one of them that enjoys doing that. The University of Rochester, the Eastman School, are our hosts for the Eastman Theater, Kilbourne Hall, Hatch Recital Hall. These are historic halls, and the music and the sound and the acoustics are fantastic. We are so fortunate to have the university as a sponsor. I'd like to introduce Sean Nelms, Vice President for Community Partnerships and Special Advisor to the President for the University of Rochester.
Thanks, Mark and John. And could someone tell Jeremy it's 60 degrees outside? It's not cool. And thank you all for joining us today for exciting news about the Jazz Festival. As the legacy of the University of Rochester and the greater Rochester region can attest, the cultivation and celebration of music is a hallmark of who we are as a community. As the facade of the university's Eastman School of Music famously notes, music and its public performance have long enriched our community. For more than 2 decades, the Jazz Festival has done exactly that, enriched our culture and celebrated our community. We're proud that the Eastman School's talented faculty and students, like Joey, have been able to share their music through the festival. And we're proud that the university's historic venues like the Eastman Theater has been the stage for world-renowned guests from all over the world. We're especially proud to be full partners with the Rochester International Jazz Festival. Events like the Jazz Festival align with the university's long-held commitment to work closely with our regional partners to benefit the broader Rochester community. Those partnerships with economic, educational, social, and cultural organizations in the Rochester region keep the University of Rochester grounded in the community and with the people who are our neighbors and our friends. Through such strong connections, the entire region will be better able to leverage the talents and abilities of everyone in the community in ways that help each of us succeed. Thank you to everyone who participates, organizes, and contributes to the success of the Jazz Festival. Let's continue to work together to celebrate the spirit of jazz and its profound impact on our community. Thank you.
You saw some slides up there that we were going through. I also want to make sure that you recognize, and I recognized, he will be up here to speak, M&T Bank. They've been with us for several years. Dan Burns, that has never been short for words when he comes up for comments on stage, is great. He always has some kind of reference to whoever the artists are. We enjoyed working with him, and we also will continue to be appreciating M&T Bank, that will be being our sponsors for the Eastman Headliner Series. They will also be our presenting sponsor for the Jazz Scholarship Concerts. So we do not take them for granted, and we're looking forward to working with M&T Bank. The individual that I've gotten to know quite a bit, both in business as well as with the Jazz Festival, is just as classy of a person as Dan Burns. I'd like to introduce Mr. Steve Epping, our regional president for Rochester M&T Bank.
Thanks, Mark. I continually get compared to Dan. He's taller than me, but I got him in other places, which I won't go into. But thank you, Mark, very much for that. We're thrilled to be here again. I mean, the Jazz Fest is just a crown jewel for the city of Rochester, and we look forward to it at M&T year in, year out. We're thrilled to be partnered with all of the partners who are up on the screen: Rochester Regional Health, University of Rochester. Everybody who we're partnering with and side by side is thrilling for us. But each year, the Jazz Fest brings great musicians, bolsters the vitality of downtown, brings people together, supports downtown small businesses, all things that are extremely important for our community, and things that M&T loves to support. We've been a proud sponsor since 2002. So I think it's actually from the absolute beginning. We've been partnered with Mark and John, and we're excited about this year. So this year we're excited. Mark mentioned a little bit, but I want to repeat. We're sponsoring this year the Headliner Series at Kodak Hall at Eastman Theater, as well as the annual Jazz Festival at Eastman School of Music Scholarship Program. Two very important items that we're thrilled to be aligned with Mark and John with. And I think these programs underscore the importance for the community, for the folks that are involved, but also underscores a lot of what we focus here at M&T to make sure that we're here supporting the community and the individuals within. So at M&T, we believe the power of the community. We continually talk about that, the importance of fostering connections and shared experiences. And I don't think there's an event or a venue that does it better than Jazz Fest. So we're thrilled. And I know that there are many people at M&T who attend the Jazz Fest, and it's already starting to be a buzz around the office. So we're thrilled, and just want to say thank you, and we're honored and proud to be a sponsor.
Thank you, Steve. This gentleman, I've supported him from the beginning. I remember having conversations with him early when he started supporting the Jazz Festival, and basically the conversation is whatever you guys need, if we can support you with it, we will. I want to thank, before I introduce him and his administration, because they have also followed the lead of several of the other organizations that are arts organizations here in our city and are helping us with different types of cost structures that are out there. That is something that is second to none, doesn't necessarily happen in every city, especially for some of the artistic events. And we do not take that for granted either. At this time, I'd like to bring up our mayor of Rochester, Mr. Malik Evans.
Thank you. What an exciting day. Being that we're in the Duke, I don't know if we should clap or do the little snap thing, right? But it's great to be here. First off, let me just say congratulations to Rochester Regional for becoming the title sponsor. I think that it's worth it, and I'm glad that you're the title sponsor. And then also M&T, who has been there since the beginning. I was an employee at M&T. I remember trying to score some of those Jazz Fest tickets for the 14 years that I was there. So I've been very familiar with this festival for such a very, very long time. And it's also great to be here, who you'll hear from in a second. My partner in government, Adam Bello, who I think we got about 7 events together this week. Adam, I was looking at the calendar. I think this is the first one kind of kicking it off. But I mentioned that because, and also, of course, the University of Rochester, who is having those great shows in that great, beautiful Eastman Theater, a place where everyone loves to go. But I always mention these folks, and of course, Senator Cooney, because one of the things that I like about Mark and John is that they understand the importance of partnership. You can't do this stuff alone. It can't be done without collaboration and working together. And anybody stands up and says, I, good luck. They're going to be by themselves. And the Jazz Fest is such a reminder to all of us in the community that collaboration is key. And when you have good collaborators from the top to the bottom, you can make magic happen. And that is what we have been having on Jazz Street and all the venues like the Duke. And these guys, Mark and John, have been masters at pulling people together and getting people to collaborate. I'm here to really announce something I'm very excited about. The first year as mayor, I got to announce that we were doing these free shows on Parcel 5. We had just started renovating Parcel 5 and making it all nice and acceptable for people to be able to come and hear. But I'm also very excited to announce that for the first time since 2014, we are returning one of the stages back to East and Alex. The East and Alex stage will be set up for the first Saturday of the festival on 6/21. That is a big deal. 11 years, and now that stage is coming back. It's great for that neighborhood. I'm sure the East and Alex Business Association is happy. They can stop bothering the two of us. So there you go. They're getting the stage back, and that is in addition to the Parcel 5 stage from 6:25 to 6:28 and the Gibbs Street stage, which will be up for the entire 10 days. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a festival that just keeps getting better. It keeps evolving. It keeps adding more acts. It keeps bringing more people here. I now use this as a recruitment tool to showcase Rochester. They're great festivals, and we are, the county executive mentioned at City Hall yesterday that we're kicking off the St. Patrick's Day Parade, and we talk about how that kind of kicks off the festivals. But just right in the middle, in June, we have this great festival where music is playing from venues all over, but you can literally stand in the middle of the street and hear this great music that puts you in a great mood. If you're not put in a great mood during Jazz Fest weekend, Jazz Fest week, during those 10 days, something is seriously wrong with you. And you probably need to go see Dr. Mayo. But so we are just so very excited to be able to see this festival return again, bigger, better than ever. And I want to thank the leaders of this festival, because I know that it is just so hard to start planning this. I know as soon as the mic drops from the last performance, these Mark and John are up planning the next festival. So we are so grateful for your leadership in this space. And then I'll say lastly, I'm sure I speak for the county executive, we're also grateful for the economic impact, because it helps us fill those potholes that everybody's been complaining about. So we are very, very excited about the economic impact that this has. This is, for anyone that doubts that arts is not an economic development tool or an economic development driver, People's Exhibit A, I'm not an attorney, I submit to you the Jazz Fest as evidence. Thank you very much, and congratulations.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Also like to thank Blake Giannini, the Giannini brothers. They were, Blake's here somewhere. He was one of the impetus working with the mayor to get us back down on East and Alexander. Our county executive has been a fantastic supporter, a gentleman to work with always. His team has been wonderful, working with Jeff and the entire team. We do not, we do not hesitate to say thank you all the time. I know that can be overkill, but it's not easy to run a festival without the support. I'd like to bring up our county executive, Adam Bello.
Good morning. Thank you, Mark. A couple things. First of all, I got to tell you how excited I am for today. The mayor just said this. We were together, I think it was last Friday at City Hall, right? Kicking off our festival season, St. Patrick's Day, the Lilac Festival, now the Jazz Festival. This is my favorite time of year. I was going to say, Sean, with Jeremy, it's like, it's nice and warm out today. And so I'm hoping this weather really holds, especially for this weekend too. Mark, I want to thank you and the team, Mark and John. I just got to tell you how lucky we are as a community. I know, Mark, where'd you go? You spent a lot of time thanking all the sponsors who financially stepped up and are contributing in so many different ways. But we are really lucky as a community to have someone like Mark Iacona, who literally works around the clock, year round, to bring this really special treasure that we have to our community. So can we give Mark another round of applause and thank him for the work that he's done here. I've seen him at the Jazz Festival. You must not sleep that week. It's like 9 days of just constant movement, and we appreciate that. And John, thank you, John, for the work that you're putting in. I cannot wait to see what you're announcing today. You know, the Jazz Festival and the bands that you brought here have given me the opportunity to meet Kevin Bacon, Trombone Shorty, like all these great people. Can't wait to see who we're meeting this year. But this being the 22nd year of the festival, filling downtown with vibrant music, exuberant crowds, plenty of activities, really just makes the city of Rochester come alive. This is one of the world's largest and leading jazz festivals. Monroe County is proud to be a sponsor again this year for a number of different reasons. And the reasons are what I really love about the Jazz Festival. Number one, as it has been mentioned, the economic impact, as the mayor said, the hundreds of millions of dollars that this festival has brought to our community by welcoming people from not just across the country, but music lovers from across the world come and get to experience all of our tourist destinations, our restaurants, and they spend a lot of dollars here in our community. That economic impact is very important to our city. Number two, really bringing people together. I mentioned the Lilac Festival, the St. Patrick's Day activities that are coming together. But one of the reasons I love living in Rochester, which I think is why a lot of you probably like living in Rochester as well, is we are a festival town. There is something here for everyone, whether you love the cultural attractions that we have, the music, the arts, all these different things that we have here, the air shows. We have something for everybody. And this is one of those things that brings out, no matter what type of music you love, you will find something at the Jazz Festival that will make you happy and that you'll enjoy. And number three, the local talent. Yes, we're going to John is going to announce, I think, some worldwide and world-renowned talent that's going to perform here in our community. But to welcome also our local talent and to showcase, particularly, I know a lot of times we have the high school students come and perform. What a wonderful way to show the talent that our high school students have and our young people have, give them the chance to perform on really this international stage and give them that opportunity that they wouldn't otherwise have, I think, is a remarkable thing that, again, John and Mark, that you've given our community. So again, thank you to our new title sponsor, Rochester Regional, Dr. Mayo. It's good to be here talking about the Jazz Festival and not some other things that we've talked about over the years. But thank you for your sponsorship and all the local businesses and organizations that really make this a successful event. Thank you.
So before I bring up Dr. Mayo, I just want to say we're very fortunate in a community to have two major systems that work together and collaborate together during this festival. That means something to me. I know personally for various reasons. Life is short. Things can change in an instant in your life. So one thing I want everyone to understand is that when you come out to this festival, come with friends, come to meet people, but spend real time with them while you're enjoying the music, because in an instant, it could be taken away from you. So it's nice to have both our systems working together. And Sean, I want to say again, thank you for grabbing me a couple years ago to say, how can we help more? And also with Rochester Regional Health, the years of sponsorship that the system has been with us has allowed us to bring in certain artists that maybe we wouldn't have been able to do. At this time, I'd like to bring in Executive Vice President and Chief Medical Officer of Rochester Regional Health, Dr. Robert Mayo.
Thank you, Mark, and thank you, John, for this amazing annual festival that we all enjoy. And this announcement today is just a celebration of Rochester in a way, is it not? You know, there's such an amazing collaboration across this community that has gone on for decades. It's one of the reasons why living in Rochester is such a wonderful opportunity and blessing in our lives. So it's my pleasure to represent the executive leadership team of Rochester Regional Health and to announce our title sponsorship of this festival. The festival is a way to touch the community that brings health and wellness beyond the walls of a hospital or a medical clinic. We all know that there are many scientific studies that show that music brings an antidote to stress. It facilitates wellness. It improves memory. It enhances recovery from illness. So music is a vital part of our beings as human beings, and certainly in this community. So Rochester Regional Health is very proud to be the title sponsor to help extend a feeling of wellness and community and here in Rochester. We feel that redefining what it means to take care of our community is not just treating illness, but investing in this great cultural endowment that we enjoy by promoting wellness in all of the forms that wellness can take within our community. And so thank you very much for this opportunity.
Thank you, Doctor. So the time that you're all waiting for right now is the best time, and it's Happy New Year to me when it comes to the music. I'd like to bring up my esteemed partner and co-producer, John Nugent. He is a brother, a mentor, and someone that I think that we've learned a lot from in terms of programming here in Rochester, what he's learned throughout the world, doing different events and bringing that programming to Rochester. It's not who you know, it's who you don't know. But I think there is no other festival that has a Club Pass series the way we do, with the elements of free that we bring to the public. But the programming has each its own personality in each venue. That's something that John brought that concept to Rochester. I'd like to bring up our artistic director and co-producer, Mr. John Nugent.
Thanks, Mark. Just tilt the microphone up here. First of all, I just want to say thank you, everybody, for your support, never-ending support. We couldn't do this festival, as Mark said, and everybody said, without all of our great sponsors. So we'll get right into it. We've already announced our reserved seat show ticketed headliners at the M&T Bank Series in the Kodak Hall at Eastman Theater. Smokey Robinson, of course. Can't think of Motown without Smokey Robinson. The incredible Wynton Marsalis, who's today is Louis Armstrong, leading the jazz world with the Jazz at Lincoln Center Orchestra. The Wood Brothers, who've been in Rochester several times over the past 20 years. They're just a great Americana band. A lot of people might not remember Rickie Lee Jones. She had some great hits in the 70s and 80s. She's still vibrant and wonderful entertainer. It's going to be a great show. And from LA, the incomparable Thundercat, one of the most incredible bassists you'll ever hear. So we're looking forward to the Kodak Hall at Eastman Theater Series presented by M&T Bank, and there are tickets for sale still on rochesterjazz.com. We'll get into the Club Pass series. You may recognize some of the names. You know, there's artists that come here and immediately call me the day after, I want to come back, because they had such a great time because of the way they were treated, and the audience really engaged them. We had this young artist here last year at Max of Eastman Place. You remember Samara Joy? Well, this girl at Kepping Quelly is on her trajectory, I believe, and she's going to perform the opening night at Kilbourne Hall. Terrell Stafford Quintet, it's trumpet night, as you can see. Wynton's on Kodak Hall at Eastman Theater. Terrell Stafford is playing at Kilbourne Hall. Rochester's own Joe Locke Group, some of his favorite musicians. The music of Tad Dameron with Dameronia's Legacy All-Stars, led by a German drummer named Bernd Rieder. Trombonist Wycliffe Gordon Quartet, Matt Wilson's Good Trouble. I'm proud to say that my darling wife Dawn plays with Matt quite a bit, and Matt is a dear friend of ours. He's got an incredible band, wonderful drummer. Veronica Swift, who's making waves in the music world right now, great singer. We're going to celebrate the life of Oscar Peterson with his daughter, who called me Celine Peterson. He would have been 100 years old on that date. And I think that it's just wonderful to have his daughter come. They're going to do a retrospective about the life of Oscar Peterson. And then from New Orleans, you may have seen her on 60 Minutes recently, Doreen Ketchens. She's one of a kind, actually, and an unbelievable clarinetist. So she's going to close the series at Kilbourne Hall. At Max of Eastman Place, which is, for us, it's been kind of a, remember back in 2002, there was an unknown artist named Nora Jones. who played at the same spot as Katie George. Katie is a Canadian singer who's going to really, really make some waves, I think, in the music industry. Sullivan Fortner Trio, Hillary Gardner and the Lonesome Pines. From Chile, Claudia Acuna. Brandon Goldberg Trio. From Puerto Rico, Fabiola Mendez with a really cool style. I think you're going to really enjoy her a lot. From Israel, Ehud Eshari Trio. And some legends of Rochester. Pat LaBarbera will return with Roberto Acapinti and the Italian Songbook. And from Paris, living in New York now, Ivanic Planet Quartet, a harmonica for Django, celebrating the music of Django Reinhardt. So a lovely series at Max of Eastman Place this year. Moving on to the montage, some hard-hitting jazz with The Fringe, led by George Garzone, the Brian Charette's Organ Trio, Rochester's own Herb Smith with his Freedom Trio, David Hazeltine Quartet, more experimental type of group, John McKenna, Resonant Structures. From New Orleans, The Rumble featuring Chief Joe Boudreau, George Colligan Quartet from Seattle. And again, a couple of groups are going to play 2 nights just because they're coming a long way. Ebonic Plenet Quartet again. And Jocelyn and the Sweet Compression will rock out the montage on the final night. Then on Broadway, we've got some wonderful sounds from around the world. Elio Alves from Brazil will lead his Samba Jazz Trio. Artist of the Year in Rising Stars from a touring organization in Europe was here about 5 years ago. Sasha Berliner Quartet, she's a vibraphonist. 2 incredible baritone saxophone players, Boss Baritones will hit on the Sunday. Hot Club of Cowtown will be here for a couple of nights. Rochester's own Laura Dubin Trio, Dave Ravello Ensemble, and Rich Thompson Trio. And as Adam Bello said, we really like celebrating our regional artists. These are some of our finest regional artists here, Laura, Dave, and Rich. And Sean Mason Quartet, and from Toronto, Allison Au Quartet. The Hatch Recital Hall, famous for its solo piano series, Sullivan Fortner, Elio Alves, Bruce Barth, and Ari Yamamoto will do a 4-hands concert with 2 pianos. Brandon Goldberg, Timothy Ogunbiyi, Ehud Eshari will perform solo. Sean Mason, Roberta Pickett, and Adrian Ferrugia. At the Duke here, we're going to be really grooving in here this year. I'm excited about this first artist. She reached out to me. She is originally from Switzerland, living in London now. Ruta D, I think, is going to make some moves in the jazz world. A Rochester native, making his mark in the blues world, McKinley James. Bill Tiberio. Bill Tiberio is at Fairport High School, maybe one of the hardest working educators I know. He helps us with all the high school bands that perform on the Jazz Street stage. So I want to give a special shout out to Bill Tiberio, and he's a brother. He does a lot of hard work for us, and you'll see him in the program every year with his band. From Brooklyn, New York, Spin Cycle. From Philadelphia, Muscle Tough. From Toronto, She Bad. Salami Rose, Joe Louis. I'm really looking forward to people's reaction to this artist. Incredible. From New Orleans, CJ Chenier, and from Montreal, Saline. All artists who have a chance of, who knows, they're all such great musicians. The Little Theater this year, the Roots Americana series, I think is going to be one of our best ones ever. The solo Delta, Mississippi, Hubby Jenkins will be coming up to play. Hillary Gardner and the Lonesome Pines. From Scotland, Louise Bichon's Hilleland. Splendid Torch from Berlin, Germany. Hans Bilgert and Greenholm Bilger Trio, the Jacob Joliffe Band, Rochester's legend Don Potter and Friends, another Rochester native, Juliet Lloyd, is returning home to perform, and Ward Hayden and the Outliers Unplugged will close out the Little Theater Roots and Americana series. We want to give a little shout out to Ayette Jordan, Sue Rogers, the WXXI team, and everybody at the Little Theater for all their support, and we appreciate them. The Temple Theater this year, you may have seen this guitar player perform with Chris Bodie. He's going to open up this year for us, Mark Whitfield Group. From, again, a French artist, Tatiana Eva Marie and an Avalon band will perform music of Django Reinhardt as well. For her second night, Claudia Acuna, Chuchito Valdez from Cuba, and Diego Figueroa. Matt Wilson's Good Trouble for the second night. This project, Jane Bennett's Red Dragonfly. It's a string quartet with a rhythm section of Hilario Duran, trio, and Jane's on soprano saxophone. Incredible music. I think people will really enjoy that a lot. NEO jazz master Gary Bartz, the saxophonist, Nicole Zaritis, Grammy Award-winning singer, and Rochester's Hall of Famers, the Majestics, will close out the Temple Theater series. At Innovation Theater, it's a guitar kind of groove to open up the opening night Jazz Fest. The String Revolution, an RB legend already in my mind, Jared Lawson, saxophonist who played with Miles Davis, Bill Evans and the Vans Band All-Stars, also a guitarist who toured with Miles Davis, Mike Stern, wonderful musician, a good friend, Scott Mayo's Hall of Famer who lives out in LA. You may know him from performing with Earth, Wind, and any great artists. Scott Mayo Band will perform. We're celebrating the music of the Brecker Brothers, Heavy Metal Bebop, which was an anthem to any saxophonist. When I was in college, I studied that record. So they're gonna perform all the music of that with the Vivatni Brothers from Rochester. From England, Acoustic Alchemy, the String Queens. You got to hear these girls; they're incredible. And an amazing salsa band from Bronx, New York, La Excelencia, will close out the Innovation Theater. Our big tent, which for me is the party tent. It's a lot of fun to go in there, and especially see the kids dancing on the Rochester Regional Health lit up floor every year. It's a lot of fun. Tay and the Neighborly, Okan, Hot Club of Cowtown, the Fall Creek Brass Band, the Rumble featuring Chief Joseph Boudreau, who will do the second night, Bad Sneakers, Shijay Chenier, and Dorian Ketchen's Orleans Jazz, and Kneebody will play at the big tent. All great artists. I think the vibe will be very special in there this year. And that's our grid, as we call it. You can download it from the festival website. For those who are curious, who don't know the music, again, it's not who you know, it's who you don't know. Our app will feature a Spotify list that we're curating. The app will come out, I think, Gene, in 3 weeks, in April. You can plan your own schedule, choose the times, you'll get alerts, you can go from venue to venue, and it's just so much fun for me to bomb around on my Vespa, seeing everybody getting from one venue to the next. And you can plan it all out, pick who you want to go see. So I really encourage you to check out those you don't know. We've got our student jazz workshops every day, sponsored by Wegmans. My dear wife, Dawn Thompson, who's recently been teaching at the Eastman School of Music, jazz vocal ear training. For aspiring vocalists, please come to Dawn's workshop on June 23rd. Scott Mayo will be performing. We'll talk about that in a second, but he's going to do a workshop in the afternoon. Herb Smith as well, Paul Hoffman, and Jeff Campbell. So we encourage all the students, come down to the Eastman School Room C120, bring your instruments, hang out with these great players, talk to them. They'll be talking about jazz. You can ask questions, anything you're curious about. And that's what it's all about for us, learning. Wegmans Pavilion, again, across the street, caddy corner to the Jazz Street stage. All regional artists, all great, all fabulous music with I Square, Ignite, Jimmy Highsmith Jr., Grupo Ife, Flower City Trio, the Red Hot and Blue Band, Public Water Supply, USP, and the Buddhahood. So free shows, go check them all out. They're wonderful artists, all of them. Our library series, Jazz Starts at the Library at noon every day during the week. Joey Stempian, of course, you heard earlier, with his group, Simon Fletcher, Mel Henderson Jr., Mike Kalpa, and Quinn Lawrence will perform at the library. On the Jazz Street stage from Philadelphia, I heard these guys, they were going to play in Ottawa, and they called me and I said, man, if James Brown was alive, he would just be so happy. This guy's Snack Time will open on Jazz Street. Every year now, for the last several festivals, the military groups have called and asked to come perform. This year, the U.S. Army Jazz Ambassadors will return again. Rochester's legend, Fred Costello, with his organ group. On Monday night, M&T Bank's ESM Jazz Scholarship Performance, directed by Jeff Campbell, with special guest Scott Mayo. And as you can see, Scott's doing a workshop. He's guesting with the students, and he's performing with his own band, and he's flying out from L.A. specifically to do that for us. Music Educators Big Band, led by Bill Tiberio, the Rochester Metro Jazz Orchestra. Of course, Bernie Schroeder will be up there playing his trumpet, I know, a dear friend of ours. And Soul Stew, who have been with us for I think 14, 15 years now in a row on the Thursday night. Bruce Katz Band and the Sam Greenfield Band will close out the Jazz Street stage. As the mayor said, we're going back to Alexander Street and East Avenue. And this year we've got a Nashville. I think he's a superstar right now. He's very hot in the country music world. And as George Wein taught me, he says, if it's creative and there's improvisation in it, you can present it on a jazz festival. And music has really no boundaries when it's creative and improvised. Chris Lane will perform with Alyssa Trahan Band, a Rochester native who's living in Nashville now. So if you're a country music fan out there and you've never been to the Jazz Festival, now's your chance. And stroll up the street after the show and you can hear all the other great stuff. But this is a free show. I want to thank Blake Giannini, who I was talking to on the range at CCR. We talked about this, and here we go. We're going to have a great party on June 21st. Jesus Molina will open the Wednesday night show at the Parcel 5 stage. This guy is an absolute, I think, borderline genius. I think he might even have a message. Is that later, Gene? Right after this. So Jesus Molina is going to perform with Sonidos Unidos opening. This is our Latin jazz night at Parcel 5. And I think we have a little message from Jesus who wanted to say hi. Not yet? Technical difficulties? Okay, we're not going to play it. But Jesus is fantastic. Really looking forward to this guy is on the rise. He's going to be a superstar for sure. Last year, these guys were supposed to perform. Their father was rushed to intensive care the Wednesday night. They were supposed to perform Thursday. He passed away 48 hours later. So they wanted to make up the date, and we said absolutely. So Los Lonely Boys will return again to the Jazz Festival on Thursday night with the Bruce Katz Band opening. Jam Band night. If you're a fan of, let's say, I don't know, the Grateful Dead or, Medeski Martin Wood, jam bands are big in the music world right now. Lettuce is no exception. These guys are drawing huge crowds everywhere they go. And we're going to have Sam Greenfield open for them. That's Friday night at Parcel 5. And of course, we couldn't close our jazz festival without the great Trombone Shorty and Orleans Avenue. You might have saw him on the Super Bowl. He's the hottest entertainer, I think, in the music world right now, and they asked to come back. They're going to do a couple of shows throughout New York in June, and of course, we were the first ones to secure them, and we're really excited. At Trombone Shorty and Orleans Avenue with Helium Bubble opening for them at 7 o'clock. And I think that is our lineup for this year. So artists from about, I think, 15, 16 countries. In today's geopolitical world, it's the visas and international travel are a challenge, but we're fortunate to have so many international artists coming to perform for us. They perform their take on America's only true art form, which is jazz. So we're really thankful. We're thankful to all of you guys, everybody out there listening. We'll see you all on Jazz Street. Coffee and tea. Help yourself.